didn't break you. It made you powerful. I know, because I was the black dude in the cowboy hat, hip deep in the icy stream, panning for nuggets. And if you find the courage to paint the picture of your worst nightmare in the spoken word, then listen to it until it soaks in and saturates your mind, until you can hear it without any emotional reaction or spillover, it will no longer make you cower or cry. It will make you strong. Strong enough to walk out on stage and tell the whole world what they did to you and how it didn't break you. It made you powerful. Recording yourself isn't just a reliable tool for neutralizing trauma. It can change the dynamic of almost any situation or mood. If you use it properly, it can also spoken word. Then listen to it until it soaks in and saturates your mind, until you can hear it without any emotional reaction or spillover. It will no longer make you cower or cry. It will make you strong. Strong enough to walk out on stage and tell the whole world what they did to you and how it didn't break you. It made you powerful. Recording yourself isn't just a reliable tool for neutralizing trauma. It can change the dynamic of almost any situation or mood. If you use it properly, it can also keep you honest. One day, a couple of years ago, not long after ramping up my training from 10 miles of running per day to 20 or more, I felt drained and sore, too tired to run, and kept telling myself that I needed a day off. As I relaxed on the couch, I tuned into my self-talk. Then I grabbed my recorder and whined into the microphone. I wanted to hear how it sounded out loud. I was real with myself. I cataloged my recent runs and nagging injuries and described how I thought a day off might help me. I made a solid case for a much-needed rest day. But when I played it back, the jury of one was unconvinced, because my inner bitch was suddenly the emperor with no clothes. Buck naked in the light of day, he was impossible to ignore and even harder to stomach. I was off the couch and out on the road in a matter of seconds. Many people wake up with dread or doubt day after day. They dread their workouts, their class load, or their job. Maybe they have a test or presentation that makes them nervous, or they know that the day's workout will hurt. While they linger in bed, they tune into their soft, forgiving self-talk, which doesn't make it any easier to get up and moving. Most people rise up eventually, but they remain in a daze for hours because they aren't fully engaged with their lives. Their self-talk has made them numb to the moment, and they sleepwalk through half the day before they finally perk the fuck up. The way we speak to ourselves in moments of doubt is crucial, whether or not the stakes are high, because our words become actions, and our actions build habits that can coat our minds and bodies with the plaque of ambivalence, hesitancy, and passivity, and separate us from our own lives. If any of this sounds familiar, grab your phone and record your inner dialogue as soon as you wake up. Don't hold back. Spill all your dread, laziness, and stress into the mic. Now listen to it. 9 times out of 10, you won't like what you hear. It will make you cringe. You wouldn't want your girlfriend or boyfriend, your boss, or your kids to hear your unfiltered weakness. But you should, because then you can repurpose it. You can use it to remind yourself that changes must be made. Listening might inspire you to commit to your life in a deeper way, to be your best at work, at school, or in the gym. It can challenge you to rewrite the narrative so that when you bed down, you won't feel like you wasted another valuable day. Do it again the next morning, but this time, once you get through listening to all your whining about the shit you don't want to do, sit up in bed and lay down a second take. Pretend you're motivating a friend or loved one who is going through challenges. Be respectful of the issues they face, but be positive, forceful, and realistic too. This is a skill that demands repetition, and if you do it regularly, you'll find that it won't take long for your self-talk to flip from doubt and dread to optimism and empowerment. The conditions of your life might not change a whole lot at first, but your words will make sure that your approach does change, and that will eventually enable you to shift everything. But you must speak the truth and be willing to listen to it. Don't be afraid of your weakness or doubt. Don't be embarrassed and pretend it doesn't exist. It surfaced for a reason, so use it to flip the dynamic of your life. Lately, I've used this...
Hey, what's up, y'all? So, in this part, he speaks about, this is what I call myself personally, right? Your highest self, your lowest self, and your highest self. You have a lower self, and you have a higher self. Your lowest self is that weak voice that you have in your mind that wants to give up, that's complaining about everything, that is the victim, poor me. It's valid, right? And so sometimes you just have to know, well, yeah, like the way he explains it. For me, I have to be a little kinder, you know? But it's weird because at times I feel like I just need to be a complete and total a-hole to myself, you know? Stop saying you know. And here, this is a great example also about what I speak about about the inner critic. So the inner critic isn't bad, right? Because otherwise, let's see, the inner critic isn't bad, like he's saying. I agree with that. It's just how are we looking at it? How am I looking at it? What is my perspective of it? What story am I creating about the inner critic? So that's why in my previous videos, you know, I knew, I was already aware, and I was like, okay, right, hold on, guys. This is my current understanding of this at this moment right now. In the future, this may change. I may be like, you know what? I disagree with what I said back then because I have new information, greater clarity. So yes. But here, this is pretty cool because he speaks about, as I said, I speak the way that the way that I see it is you have your higher self, your lower self, your inner be, and your inner warrior, right? You have the warrior inside of you, your highest self, or your inner child. And then you have, well, the way that Dr. Lucia Capuccini speaks of it is you have your inner child and you have the critic, which is like your parent, you know, in your mind. So once you become aware, that's why I speak of being self-aware. Being self-aware, then you can begin to, once we become self-aware, we were able to see. It's like seeing a new color. Oh, red. You start seeing it everywhere. So this is the same thing. You'll start to see when you are complaining, when you are whining. You want to continue to feel that way, like the victim. Keep whining, keep complaining. You want to empower yourself. Feel like the victor that you are, brother or sister. Be aware of that, your inner critic, your inner weakling. Be aware of your highest self, of the warrior dominator inside of you, and listen to that voice. Listen to both, be aware of both, and know when to listen to each, because you do have to listen to to the victim, because then you're like, okay, what's going on? Something's happening here in my world. Why am I stressed out? Okay, so you start listening to it, and it's true. Do you want your children to see you speak like that? You know, your brother, your sister, your family members, your team, your coworkers, your bosses. You want them to see you like that? Not like to judge you or anything like that, but it's because it's the truth. It's like you look weak, you know? And it's okay to feel weak. It's okay to feel, you know, like a piece of crap. It's okay, but asking the right questions, gaining clarity, and then new information, apply that information to your life. You gain clarity, you get new results, you feel different, and then you'll know, yes, this is the right path. No, this is the wrong path. And at your own pace, we're all different. So, but yeah, man, this is perfect, because now I can share with you guys examples from this video from someone else. This is what I'm doing. This is what I live. This is my life, you know. This is how I live. Whatever I share on this channel is what I'm living. It's what I'm doing also in my life, in my own unique way, at my own pace, in the way that I'm able to do it, right? Because we are all different. We grow up different lives. We grow up in different areas, different parts of the world. We learn different languages. Dread. So, what do you dread to do, right? I've been there. I've laid in bed for slept the whole night and laid in bed for another 8 hours, another 7 hours, another 5 hours, another 10 hours, trying to escape my life, trying to not, because at that time I was probably I had no idea that I was an HSP, no idea about all these tools. I had no idea that our minds are powerful. I had no idea that, that we can heal, that we can grow, that we can expand. I didn't know how to go about it. And I was suffering at that time. I was so ignorant. I'm still ignorant, to be clear. I was way more ignorant about myself, about how the world works, about feelings, emotions, words. Everything in our life is significant. Everything in our life. Everyone that we interact with, every single thing is significant because it's information. Everything that's going on in our world is information. It tells you something, you're telling the world something, and it goes back and forth. And but yeah, dread. I've been there. I still feel it sometimes, but then I'm aware of it, and I'm am I gonna regret this? No. I already know that I'm not gonna regret meditating. I'm not gonna regret taking a cold shower. I'm not gonna regret lifting weights when I do it. I'm not going to regret journaling when I do it. I'm not going to regret buying a brand new book. I'm not going to regret listening to that book over and over and over and over and over again for a whole week straight, 24/7. I'm not going to regret creating these videos and sharing them with, you guys, to my subscribers. I'm not going to regret facing my fears, the stuff that I know I'm uncomfortable with, that whether it's a person, a place, a thing, a job, whatever it is, my children. Sometimes, coming home from work, being an HSP, I feel like I get drained completely, but it's a story that I'm creating in my mind that I need to work on. But it's not just a story, so it's a multitude of things that we have to work on. All right. Thank you guys. Thank you for your time. See y'all later.